I'm always amazed as I approach the Marine Lab habitat in Key Largo, how historic it is. It's been the habitat that's been used the longest in the world, an undersea laboratory. It's been in operation for 25 years. All kinds of scientific expeditions and crews have been here to this laboratory over the years to do research of many different kinds. And as you settle down beside the structure on the ocean floor, it's just an amazing sight, actually. It's quite a view as you settle down and get ready to enter the hatch. The habitat has an opening in the bottom of its structure, and what you're looking at there is the front porch of the habitat. And there's only room for one aquanaut at a time going in, so if there's more than one aquanaut, as there is in this case, the first aquanaut goes in and leaves the other outside to wait their turn. In this case, it's Claudia with the camera, and I'm going in ahead of her. Of course, this was arranged in advance so that we could show you this video. There's two ways to go in. You can go in face down, but over the years we found it easier to go in face up. That way you don't bang your head, which is easy to do here in this pretty small porch. As you can see here, you stick your head up inside the moon pool, which is what the opening is called. And at this point, the trick is to get out of your gear without banging your head or getting scratched. So as you can see here, the first thing you do is you take your hookah hose off, which is hooked up to your auxiliary air tank, and we just hook it on a little rack inside that's designed to take the hookah hose. The next event after this is to remove the auxiliary tank from your back. It's a small tank that is really not used in the water unless you have an emergency, because of course you're breathing off the hookah hose and you don't need the tank on your back. The insurance company requires that everybody have a backup air source, which is a good idea. So here you see the auxiliary tank being removed. On the front porch of the Marine Lab habitat. Down at the bottom is at 30 feet, but the moon pool itself is at 21 feet. And now standing inside to complete the process of taking off the gear. As you can see, there's a lot of fish that actually live on this porch, and they consider it their territory, and it is. This is really a story about undersea robot. It's called a video ray. That's a product name. It doesn't have an actual name, so Claudia just calls it Ray. Now the video ray is pretty small, as you can see. Here's Chris Olstead. It's permanent aquanaut holding it in his hands, and yet even though it's small, it does a lot of things. It has skids on the bottom so that it can land on the seafloor. Here we see Chris is washing it up after it comes in from its mission, and it lives in a bucket of water. That's its garage, and the reason that it lives in a bucket of water is so that inside the high pressure air of the habitat, it doesn't take gas inside and blow its seals. And this is a control panel, and here you see Chris is operating the ROV from the control panel. Control panel determines its speed or its vertical position or horizontal position along three-dimensional axis inside the water column. And here's how it looks outside. It has its own garage outside on the porch where you just saw me coming in the habitat. Chris here is holding the ROV, Ray, and has two lights in the front, which allows the aquanaut, or the diver who operates it from inside the habitat, to see what Ray is seeing at any particular given time. It's a very useful tool. It goes far deeper than a diver can dive, and yet the aquanaut can operate it comfortably from inside the habitat at any depth. Here's a look at the ROV in operation right outside the front porch there. In this particular case, the ROV is dealing with a line that has been placed in front of the porch there. And as you can see, it's a very versatile little robot and does a lot of things. So the folks at the Discovery Channel Canada decided they wanted to use the ROV at the same time that Claudia was out washing the window of the Marine Lab. And so meanwhile, I was on top of the habitat, the Marine Lab habitat, decompressing. This was hour 25 of our mission, and so I was up on top of the habitat just sitting, off-gassing for about 15 minutes before we come to the surface. So in 15 minutes to a half hour, it gets rid of excess nitrogen in the bloodstream and makes the ascent safer. And so I'm sitting up there decompressing while Claudia is on the end of the habitat cleaning the window, and the ROV is watching on. And the Discovery Channel wanted this as one of their video segments. So you can see Ray there hovering about Claudia. You can see Claudia's bubbles. The reason I didn't come around to the end of the habitat and get this particular shot is because the Discovery people were also getting the shot, and I didn't want to be in it. Didn't want to ruin their shot for them. But you can see Ray there is perfectly at home, hovering right beside Claudia, watching her. And now here the two divers come down. Buck on the right, and Dirk is on the left. And Buck is the photographer, Dirk is the safety diver. And they're giving Claudia instructions with hand signals. And there we go. That means that hand signal there, right there that you see, means that Buck is starting to film. And once again, I'm trying to stay out of the way of this shot. Don't want to ruin it for them. And Claudia is doing her thing with Ray alongside of her. And then there he goes. It's a wrap. He gives the end of the shot signal. And now it's my chance to go around and get them on video. Get a unique perspective closer up to them. There you can see the divers from the Discovery Channel getting ready to leave the scene. There's Ray getting his point of view from the other side there. The divers go back to the surface. And here comes my chance to get Claudia and Ray in the same frame. There you can see the ROV hovering just beside Claudia as she's standing there at the window, or she's floating there at the window, in other words. And it's an amazing thing to see the little robot there interacting with the human. Director gives her a tap on the head, on the shoulder. We're done now. You can go about your business, and Claudia's business at this point was also decompressing on the same schedule I was. So there, Ray flashes that he understands it's a wrap, and he's going to go back to his garage. Of course, Ray is being operated by Chris, who's just inside the habitat, right in front of Claudia there at the window. And he's watching all of this through the little video camera. Now what you're seeing here is Ray's vertical position in the water is being lowered to the same depth as his garage. Chris is making his job a lot easier. Instead of trying to work the little robot in 3 dimensions, he's coming down to 2 dimensions, the same depth as the garage, and he's going to come around to the front of the habitat and park it in its garage. And here comes Claudia. She's looking for me and she doesn't see me. I'm virtually kneeling on top of the habitat in my decompression mode. She doesn't see me yet, so she's looking around. It's kind of difficult sometimes to see all around you because the peripheral vision of that dive mask is not always what you'd want it to be. And she's looking for me, wondering where in the heck Dennis is gone. He's supposed to be on top of the habitat decompressing, but she doesn't see me. So I'm going to go over to where she is and try to get her attention because I know she's looking for me. Ah, there you are. So she comes to join me on top of the habitat. We have about 5 minutes left in our decompression. All is well.